Good morning, good morning. Welcome to our Talks with Anthony. Today we're going to have a insightful conversation. For those that are new to the channel, we make mental health conversations and content that's going to be beneficial to your personal development in addition to your well-being, right? But in today's conversation, we're going to be talking about you can outgrow people without hating them, right? So I really want to take in consideration because outgrowing someone, it often doesn't require conflict, right? You just got to be honest to yourself. It requires that honesty, right? You got to be real to yourself. The worst thing that you can do to yourself is lie to yourself, right? So not every relationship has to end or something has to be wrong, right? So sometimes it just, you outgrown somebody and you just went your different directions, right? But I also want to be able to tie into this as well, is that when you outgrow someone, it's not like you have to look down upon someone and be like, yo, like, da 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 da, like, just I have some understanding. Like somebody's went through this situation in their life, their childhood dynamic, the way that they're reasoning, their world's different, right? And it's just for you to have understanding. You do what's best for you. You had your growth, right? But at the same time, too, you don't have to hate them. There doesn't have to be resentment. Doesn't have to be problems or crash out, right? But you got to just, like I said, go your own direction and continue being the best person that you need to be out there, right? We all have our purpose. And we all have our own needs that we have to be able to fulfill, right? But I want to also normalize and reduce the shame, because when it comes to many people feel guilty for drifting away from others. They often feel as if there's a belief that you have to care from someone because these relationships have to last forever, right? That's how some of these people feel. But when it comes to growth, you can change your needs, your values, and even your boundaries over time, right? People change, right? We're not all meant to be stuck same individuals forever, right? Like I said, for instance, for someone out there that is perhaps 50 years old, their mindset may not be the same way as it when it was 23 years old or 22 years old, right? So we all change, you know what I mean? Hopefully, we're working on our personal development. That's what we're here for, right? We're trying to grow. We're trying to become better individuals, right? Year after year, some of us have New Year's resolutions, but on the back end, people just keep doing the same things, right? But when it comes to you, when it comes to your life, when it comes to you bettering your situation, you have your rights to grow, and you have your rights to go your own direction. However, let's dive into some psycho education that's going to help us be more simple, more grounded, in addition to also getting some more understanding, right? So when it comes to relationships, are often built around shared stages, identities, and coping patterns, right? So we were coping at a certain time with some of these individuals, right? Some of these individuals could have even been even in our families, right? Some of these individuals could have been friends, right? Some of these individuals could have just been long lost friends, et cetera, right? But at the certain time that our identity was in a certain way, we were trying to figure ourselves out, right? But at the same time, too, some people grow up and they snap out of that identity and they readjust, right? So at the end of the day, you have to have some understanding. But as you grow, these patterns no longer fit who you're becoming, right? Things change, right? The brain often tends to associate distance with loss or rejection, which can make it difficult, or guilt may come out of this as well. So letting go doesn't mean that there's a connection wasn't real. It just means that those patterns to your ways means that there's things don't align anymore, right? So you're outgrowing someone is a natural part of personal development. It's not a betrayal, right? So at the end of the day, personal development is your personal development, right? So you have to do what's beneficial for you, right? So at the end of the day, you shouldn't have to dim your light. You shouldn't have to be stagnant. You shouldn't have to hold yourself back. You shouldn't have to hold your full potential back because you're waiting for someone else to level up. And I want to say something too, because as you're trying to help people, right, you can't force somebody to take that help. You can't force someone to drink that water that late. There's so many different analogies out there, but at the end of the day, you have to do what's beneficial for you, right? So I just want to be able to mention that. But let's talk about some practical reframing in regards to how we're able to view this a little differently, right? So you can appreciate what the relationship was, what the person gave you, right? The values, all the different experiences and those memories, right? But at the same time too, you don't have to feel that you have to maintain with this individual, these relationships forever, right? Distance can be respectful, right? Not hurtful. You also go tap in with them when you want to tap in with them. If that person's respectful and they have understanding, but at the end of the day, distance, you got to understand, you got to do what's beneficial for you, right? So closure doesn't always have to require things to be a dramatic ending. People don't always got to crash out. Things don't always have to be hateful. Things don't always have to, be a reason why this person's not effing with this person, or, you know how things can get toxic sometimes, but it just, sometimes you also can have that quiet acceptance, right? You got to go your own way. Things have to be what it has to be. You can care about yourself and still recognize that, you no longer are growing the same direction. You guys no longer may have the same interests. You may no longer have the same values. It is what it is. At the end of the day, you still got to do what's beneficial for you and make sure that you have that fulfillment for yourself within your life. So some micro action, like I said, when we know better, we do better, right? We can apply things to our life and we're able to move better, like I said, right? So first key point I first was going to be able to, like I said, that critical thinking is reflect, right? On one relationship that feels misaligned. What's really going on in your life? Is one person holding you back. You may be able to pursue seeing yourself going to school or getting yourself a job, or you know what I mean, getting your resume, getting your license, trying to get a car. Like, you may have goals that you're trying to pursue, right? What's going on? Who's holding you back? Think about these things. Because I want to say something too, because a lot of people out here, you see these groups, you see people like kind of clicked up together, et cetera, et cetera. And I want to say this, some of these individuals are holding you back from your full potential based off of the energy, based off of the frequency, based off of someone not doing what they got to do. Like, you feel me? It's always somebody around us that is just, holding us back. But we have to be assertive. We have to really understand that we don't have to hold on to these relationships. We don't have to hold people's hand, in life. You got to be able to take care of yourself and do what's beneficial for you, right? So you got to ask yourself these things, right? So spend time alone, embrace this time of reflection, and do what's beneficial for you. Another question is, does this still support who I'm becoming? Is this am I going this way? Am I trying to go this way? Which way am I going? Which direction am I going? What's going on here, right? So consider a small boundary or a shift that is able to create this space where you're able to help yourself develop that growth, right? Something in life that doesn't stop for nobody is time, right? So what are you doing with your time? What's going on right now? Right? So like I said, you could be spending more time with regards to your personal development, growth, right? Even to here and there watching some motivational videos, driving talks we hear, you feel me? But there's so many different things that you can do that's positive, that's gonna be able to benefit you, right? We talk about therapy, right? Getting yourself plugged in, right? Be more intuitive with yourself. We talk about journaling, right? We talk about breathing. You know what I mean? Talking about what's working for you is working for you, right? So if you're going to the gym, you listen to music, whatever you got going on, whatever your routine is, right? Yoga, right? There's so many different things out there that's going on for you that's gonna help you to grow. Keep doing that, right? If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? So choose honesty over yourself, right? So I really want to take that in consideration, because the worst thing you can do is lie to yourself, right? You're holding yourself back. So choose honesty without, making you feel as if that you gotta, compromise, right? I want you to do what's beneficial for you. So coming to a close, right? Growth doesn't have to mean that it requires you to go into anger and shift into anger and crashing out and doing something that's out of alignment, right? This is a chance for you to really create that distance that's going to be able to help you be a better person, right? Get yourself where you need to be. This is a form of respect. This is a form of growth. This is a form of you trying to get where you need to be. And that is perfectly fine, right? So like I said, we don't have to look down on people. We can have understanding, and we can move accordingly. We can move respectfully, and we can create the distance to be able to have the growth that we need to be able to have the full life experience, a full life fulfillment, right? So if you found this video beneficial, give it a thumbs up, share it possible, and I'll see you on the next one. Take it easy and do what's beneficial for you, all right?